All right, guys, here we go. Here we go. As the U.S. women's soccer team is starting off the Olympics being woke, right? Kneeling, right? You would think that these people would have learned their lesson, but they just don't. They want to keep doing it. They don't care, right? They're just going to keep kneeling. And, again, guys, I'm telling you, I just have a feeling that this is gonna get worse, right? They're going to do something that's going to piss a lot of people off. That's why I think it's gonna happen. I hope it don't, but this is what I'm thinking, okay? Because they seem dead set on making this statement on racial issues, right? On protesting racism and fighting for social justice, even though kneeling does absolutely nothing, right? So let's read here about what's going on and go from there. The referee's whistle blew. The British players glanced at one another and they dropped to their knees. The Chilean counterparts responded in kind, all taking a knee at the Sapporo Dome. An hour later, it was the American and British players in Tokyo taking part Wednesday in united, unprecedented gestures against racism by teams at the Olympics. Wow. So it looks like all these teams are now taking knees, right? All these teams are protesting. And the finals women's soccer game of the day saw Australia players pose with an indigenous flag and link arms before kickoff while their New Zealand counterparts knelt. On initial day of action at the Tokyo Games, the soccer players were the first athletes to use the Olympic platform for display of activism. Long restricted by the International Olympic Committee, such protests within limited parameters are now permitted at the games inside the field of play. So I guess they fell to the woke mob, right? But remember, they were super strict on protesting, right? Now, all of a sudden, they have less restrictions. Unlike in sports like the NFL, players take a knee during the national anthem. In soccer, it happens just before kickoff. It's an opportunity for us to continue to use our voices and use our platforms to talk about the things that affect us intimately in different ways. U.S. captain Megan Rapinoe said about her team's shock 3 opening loss to Sweden about using the Olympics to address social issues. Okay, so this is kind of a big deal because the U.S. soccer team was unbeaten, right? They were unbeaten, and their streak came to an end. They couldn't even score a point. They had a winning streak of 44 games, guys. 44 games. And couldn't even score a point in the opening match after kneeling. Hey, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. It sounds to me like these soccer players, right, specifically the U.S. women's team, they need to focus more on playing, right? Focus more on their craft and less on trying to make a statement, right? Because all they're really doing at this point is pissing people off, right? That's what they're doing. And even if all these countries are doing it, we all know why they're doing it. They're doing it because of what happened in the U.S., right? That's what they're doing it for. In which, again, ironically speaking, I would argue that for any minority, the U.S. is the best country for you, okay, in terms of economic opportunity. But people want to complain about racism in the U.S. when, again, any race in the U.S. is doing better than most people around the world, period, right? But, hey, it is what it is. Quote, we have people from Team USA from all over the country, from all backgrounds, and people literally from all over the world for every other team. So I obviously encourage everyone to use that platform to the best of their ability to do the most good that they possibly can in the world, especially as all eyes are on Tokyo these next couple weeks. Whew. So it sounds like they're going to be more protests, right? Sounds like they're going to encourage people to do more. And see, guys, this is what I'm trying to tell you. I think this is going to head to a direction that a lot of people are going to like, and I'm going to tell you in a few minutes. But let me read a little bit more here. The Americans had decided earlier this year to stop kneeling during the anthem. It had started in soccer in 2016 with Rapinoe being inspired to show solidarity with Colin Kaepernick, who decided to kneel rather than to stand during the anthem while playing for the San Francisco 49ers. Quote, we're on the global stage, Rapinoe said, with the world's media and eyeballs and people's attention all drawn to one place with the collective of incredible athletes from all around the world. We care a lot about what we're doing here in Tokyo in terms of their sport, and we care a lot about of the other things. I mean, listen, you can care a lot about the other things, but you're there to play a sport. You're there to represent this country and to win some gold medals, right? That's what you're there for. You're not there to protest, okay? Because first of all, I don't know who is really watching a lot of women soccer right now. But I remember a couple years ago, everybody was in love with the U.S. women's soccer team, okay? When they won the World Cup, right? Everybody loved them. And then they want to ruin all that goodwill by kneeling, right? And then they apparently decide to stop kneeling early this year, okay, and after all the backlash, and now they want to get to the Olympics and start kneeling again. I really don't get it, because they know that the fans are not cool with this. People really are just going to ignore a lot of this Olympics because of the things you guys are doing. The British players decided at team meeting before flying to Japan to perform the gesture that had been featured over the last year at club matches in Women's Super League in England. We felt strongly as a group that we wanted to show support for those affected by discrimination and equality. British captain Steph Houghton said after the 2-0 win over Chile. It was a proud moment because the Chilean players took a knee to show how united we are as a sport. The Chilean squad was, however, caught unaware that their opponents were going to take a knee. Once they spotted them kneeling, the Chile defender Daniela Pardo did the same, followed by her teammates. It was an issue of not being in sync. Chile midfielder Karen Arrea said, "We weren't able to communicate properly due to the language. The moment we saw the English taking the knee right away, we decided to do the same. And of course, we are in favor of this same type of thing." Listen, this is what I think is going to happen, okay? Because they have loosened the standards here in regards to gestures of activism, right? But it says that only before the start and after of official events, okay? So technically that's kind of allowed what they did. Now they say podium protests are still off limits, okay? So they can't do what Gwen Berry did. However, what I think they're going to do is that they're either going to break the rules, right? Some athletes, I don't know if this is going to be the women's soccer team per se, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some athletes protest on the podium. And I also would not be surprised if one of these athletes decide, instead of playing the U.S. national anthem, the real national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, they might just decide to play the black national anthem instead. That would piss so many people off, because apparently, guys, you can choose to play whatever song you want, right? Apparently, that's from what I'm reading, okay? So technically, if you win, right, an athlete wins and they want to protest without protesting, they could decide, instead of playing the Star Spangled Banner, that they want to play the black national anthem instead. Oh my God, I can only imagine how crazy people would go if that happened, right? But that's what I'm saying. I think that they're going to try to find a way to make some type of statement that's really going to piss people off. That's really going to upset a lot of people. And this is just the start of it. But it sounds to me like, the women's soccer team as of now, they need to focus more on winning, right? Rather than, protesting. But hey, it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.